Okay, folks, welcome back to another fantastic episode of Opali Presents Know Your Pros. Today's guest, we have Scott Pipher of Horizon Home Heroes. Scott is one of the co-owners of the business that offers windows, painting, and flooring services. They are based out of Murrieta, California, but serving San Diego, Orange County, and the greater Inland Empire. Scott is the man to know if you're talking to Horizon Home Heroes. Scott, thank you so much for being a guest here today.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Well, I'm psyched to have you. You're a friend of one of our plumbing partners here at Opali, the Family Pride Plumbers, I should say. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about Horizon, which works in tandem really well with all sorts of contractors out there, but mostly with people who want great elevated home transformations. And before we started shooting this thing, you told me about your humble beginnings, coming from another window company at Milgard, and how Horizon has sort of become this big, all-encompassing, trustworthy source for people who are looking to change their houses. Tell me though, Scott, like what your experience was to get into this business, how Horizon started. Give our viewers a little bit of a taste of that.
Sure. Well, there's three owners, and Tony started this in 2007, and he was just a one-man shop doing some window cleaning and some glass repair. And he needed to increase sales, and so he asked my partner Chad and myself if we'd come on board. So we did that in 2017, 2018. And it's pretty unique because all three of us used to work for Milgard Windows, the manufacturer. So I was in sales, and Tony was in service, and Chad was in production. He was in charge of every window that came out of the plant, and was in charge of receiving, shipping as well. So everything that was made and how it got out. So we've got a pretty vast knowledge of not only Milgard Windows, but Windows in general.
Well, I think it was cool that you mentioned that coming from Milgard, like, it's obvious that you would start another window company. But you mentioned when we were chatting about it that you want to take like the corporate structure of process, but apply kind of a family value to the business, which I thought was great because if you've got a professional business that has family values, then you're going to win every time. So in terms of your experience, like the industry as a whole in Windows is great, because that's what your experience is in. But then you guys expanded into painting and flooring as well. Can you kind of explain a little bit of how you guys expanded there?
Sure. Well, I have a background in manufacturing sales in windows, painting, and flooring. And so it just seemed like a natural fit for us to come together to come into someone's home. And what we like to say is from floor to ceiling, we've got you covered. That's one of our taglines. And so it's really true. We want to come in there and be that source for the homeowner or contractor for that matter, in those vital areas that seem to go really well together.
Right. And, when we shot or before we shot here, we were talking about like the uniqueness of Horizon Home Heroes. My question is always like, why should somebody call Horizon over that next Windows, flooring painting company? I thought it was great that you talked about trustworthiness and in the experience economy, how you guys really stand out. So can you kind of elaborate on that uniqueness of Horizon there, the experience that you deliver folks who
Sure.
choose to work with you?
Sure. People buy from people they trust, and that's something that's very important to us. We're consumers as well, so kind of the golden rule: treat others like you'd like to be treated. And so we want to do that with our customers. We want to make sure that we're coming in and we're providing the knowledge that we have. And many times I'll come in after possibly another sales rep has been in from another company, and many times they'll miss certain things and that they weren't aware of after we mentioned them. We want to here's some pitfalls. You might want to be aware of this or that. And so, oh, I didn't think about that. So there's a trustworthiness that we want to make sure that the customer feels from me from the very beginning when they see us to the installers when the installers are there. And then when they're talking with our office as well, we all have that same attitude of wanting to give them an experience. They're spending a lot of money on windows and doors.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
should be an experience that they enjoy, not that they dread or that they have to do, and make it enjoyable and fun and a big reveal for the customers. When they come home, it's a transformation that is amazing for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than calling a contractor or a company that does something similar to you guys and having it feel like, man, I'm shelling out, multiple thousands of dollars and, I'm just getting yanked around or I'm feeling like I'm not a priority here. And that's the
Right.
exact opposite impression that I get with you guys. So Before we wrap this up here, Scott, I want to have you kind of tell our folks all of the different types of services. I mean, obviously we have windows, painting, and flooring, but you guys do interior, you do exterior, you do, I imagine some new builds as well. Like, could you break down those services for us before we wrap up?
Sure, we're pretty diversified. So on the window side, it's retrofit windows, new construction windows, but it's also glass replacement. You're going to have a problem. You're going to come home and a baseball is going to go through your window and you need to get it replaced. So we can do that. Sometimes the windows don't operate properly. We can go and do a little tune up on the windows. So we can take care of that. And then when it comes to flooring, just about any kind of flooring that you want, we can do. And the painting, interior, exterior, commercial, residential.
Love it. Perfect. That was succinct. We could have gone very long for that sort of a description, but if you're looking for that, folks, everything is going to be in the description of this video. Scott, I want to let the viewers know too where they can find Horizon. How can they get in touch with you and the team?
Sure. And we're two ways, horizonhomeheroes.com. It's horizonhomeheroes.com, or call our number 951-600-0020.
Beautiful. So, folks, if you find yourself in Murrieta, the Inland Empire, San Diego County, or Orange County, you got to talk to Scott and the dudes over at Horizon Home Heroes. Thank you again, Scott, for being such a fantastic guest, man.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Know your pros.